flip that on and just say, oh, hey, we meet again. And this time, we're meeting again to talk about Linux on a much older computer. The other video I had was talking about Linux on my AMD Ryzen 9800X3D. I guess it's a Ryzen 7 9800X3D. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to remember. I don't remember. But this is a 2012 MacBook Pro with a 4-core i7. So it's hyper-threaded. There are 8 cores basically on this thing. And there used to be 16 gigs of RAM, but when I did a RAM check on it, there was issues with both the sticks of RAM. So I put in the original 2 4-gig sticks for a total of 8 gigs of RAM. That second chart from the top shows that when it turns on, it's only using like a gig or 2 of RAM, and it's like caching a lot of that. So RAM usage so far has not been an issue. This computer has just been sitting in a box since 2021, so it's been doing nothing for the last few years. But I was like, hey, I threw Linux on the brand new computer and it's been working pretty good. Let's see what happens when I turn it on this computer. And so far so good. I've been very pleased. My use for this computer was to use the program Handbrake. Look, for right now I'm just kind of demoing the usefulness. The internet works fine, as I'm showing here. There's about as fast as you expect out of a computer that's 14 years old, right? I mean, it's 2012 to 2026. It's working just fine. I have it in 1080p. It is connected via Thunderbolt 2 to the, I want to say HDMI port. Yeah, it's HDMI. Thunderbolt 2 to HDMI because the monitor that I'm using here has been sitting in my garage for a long time. The speakers that are connected to this computer have been sitting in a box for probably a decade or more. The mouse has been sitting in a box for probably 3 or 4 years. Everything has been basically tossed aside and resurrected for this build, except for the keyboard that I'm using. I paid $6.99 at Micro Center for the cheapest keyboard they had. And honestly, it's well worth it. Very nice keyboard for $6.99. Here you can see that I am simultaneously installing an update while handbraking, and you can see that top graph, the CPU use on Handbrake for a Blackwell Brothers 2009. We played the Promenade in Bristol, England, and that's a disc that was sent to me across the pond. Nice DVD of our band playing. And so I had some issues. I think when Handbrake's running, it just is doing a lot, and it's like, hey man, you want to put me in a corner, you want to put me on a side, leave me alone, right? But I will say this, Handbrake runs fine. That's what I was using this computer for prior to it being supplanted by a newer Mac Mini. It now is running again, and it is able to use Handbrake, as you can see. I don't know what I'm really going to use this thing for. I put OBS on it. I put Handbrake on it. There's Firefox. I tried using Reaper, and Reaper works great, but the only problem is I have a Focusrite 4i4, and it doesn't totally play nice with it. And to be honest, like I have 2 recording computers, so why do I need a third, right? I thought maybe I could bring this to the band space or something, but maybe we'll talk about it. If anybody in my band, or any of the bands that I'm in is seeing this video, let's discuss that maybe. I don't know. We can put Reaper on this and have a multi-recording setup. Anyways, the fans ramp up fine. They initially didn't turn on at all, but thanks to Linux, and you just Google stuff and you just install things and it works for the most part. However, in this case, it worked perfectly. I installed a temperature sensor on it, temperature sensor display program. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. And unlike on OS X, which will just basically let the CPU go to 100 degrees Celsius, I will also say I think the fan speed is a little bit faster than on OS X because the heat doesn't get any higher than like, I don't know, it was like 89 degrees Celsius. I can't really see. It's not really in great focus, but 89, 91, I think I got it to. But that's still shy of 100. It would sit at the cusp of heat throttle and heat death, I guess. But now it's like 10 degrees cooler than that. I've noticed the fan is a little clicky, so I actually ordered a new fan, but that was a cheap part, and putting in a fan in a Mac Mini is not a huge issue. Anyways, my point being is this is a computer back to life, dude. And looking at the top bar on that utilities, I'm sorry, the meter program, those CPUs were spiking way up when Handbraker's running. And as you can see that, and the amount of RAM it used was not that much. Again, there's 8 gigs of RAM on this computer, and it works fine. 14 years old, works fine. I would say if you want to ditch Windows, I would say if you got old computers that you don't know what to do with, maybe not too old, but ones that are sort of Intel i5, i7 from, second, third generation, newer, but not terribly old computers. Just put Linux on it. You'd be surprised at what it can do. I may not continue to leave this computer connected to the internet, but who knows? I mean, it's there's a firewall. It's running the most current version of Firefox. Everything seems to update fine. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this computer ultimately, but for now, I brought something back to life thanks to Linux.